profitable at net level in FY24. Meanwhile, NPCI bats for a reasonable incentivization on UPI amid the ongoing debate on payment charges. Remember, a recent RBI paper had sought suggestions from stakeholders on charging transactions made on UPI, which are so far free of cost. While the Finance Ministry clarified that the government has no such plans, NPCI believes such incentives are needed to be able to invest back into the ecosystem and expand the market. In an exclusive chat with CNBC-TV18's Ritu Singh, the MD and CEO of NPCI, Dilip Asbe, also hinted that the Jan 2023 deadline of imposing a 30% cap on UPI apps' market share may be reconsidered. Hear him out on these and NPCI's international expansion plans, potential of UPI Lite, and why RuPay card share hasn't grown as expected. Take a look.
7.3 billion transactions crossed on the UPI. What is next? We've seen, the offline payment bit of it being announced. We've seen UPI Lite being announced. But what's the road ahead?
So UPI Lite now has been operational with almost top 80% of the top 30 banks, and the Bhim is the app which is live on UPI Lite, and you may want to just try it out. It's a great experience, right? You look at and what happens is it's an on-device wallet, and today if you look at UPI transactions take on an average 3 to 6 seconds to complete every financial transaction. The UPI Lite actually comes to 1/3. So in 2 seconds we are seeing the average number of transactions completing on UPI Lite. It's still a very small number, but we believe that now UPI Lite has a potential to make the time required, which can actually compete with the speed of cash, right? That's what we believe, and I think it's a good start, but we still have to see the growth and adoption by the citizens.
A bit about NPCI's plans to go global. Through your subsidiary for the international payments, you've tied up with Euroline and several other countries. What are the longer-term ambitions here?
So when you look at the NPCI International's plan, today we, and our Prime Minister spoke about that there are 2-3 things which we are looking at. One is, the India's public good can be the world's public good, right? So that's the globalization of NPCI platforms. And we see that there is a huge interest on the countries to leverage the payments innovation and payments platform what the India has built, right? So under the government to government or under the regulator to regulator arrangement, these things which will start operationalizing. The second thing is what we are looking at is the cross-border traffic, right? So and this cross-border traffic, we are looking at merchant payments, we are looking at the remittances, really real-time bank account to bank account, and at a later point of time, in 2 to 5 years' time, we can also start processing commercial transactions. So I'm saying that if the India can be the self-sufficient as per the government and RBI's vision, now that while domestic payments looks in a very solid state, can we be self-reliant on the cross-border pipes? I think that's what they're looking at with the at least top countries where it means a business back for the country.
About RuPay, since its launch, and it's still relatively new compared to some of the other global players in India, but its market share has remained more or less stagnant. Is it the zero MDR issue that is hurting the growth of the card, or what in your mind is the reason that it has remained, where it has?
See, there could be multiple reasons on that. I definitely zero MDR could be one of the reasons, but I think more to that. The UPI payments are growing, right? So technically what happens is, the customer is using his own money, right? When you look at the payment products like UPI, debit card or internet banking, mobile banking, technically you are using your own money, right? So finally, these are the choices customer starts choosing that which is the most convenient choice what he has, right? And today, and when you look at you heard the panel as well, today, when you look at the 0 to 1,000, the cash is prevalent. 1,000 to 10,000, maybe the debit cards are prevalent. And about 10,000 is mostly the credit cards, right? Because then the customer wants to leverage the 45-day free credit which bank is giving. So now what we see is the large penetration of UPI between 0 to 1,000 range. In my assessment, from 1,000 to 10,000, debit cards are still prevalent in our assessment, right?
Yeah, but what explains RuPay's relatively, much smaller share in the market?
See, we are still 33% in terms of value and volume, both on the physical and e-commerce, right? So while you see that it has not grown substantially in last 3-4 years' time, but it has not dropped as well. We have maintained our market share in that sense, and I think the emergence of variety of choices could be one potential reason for that.
Speaking of MDR, since you brought that up as well, RBI released its discussion paper. I just wanted to get your thoughts. While the government has made the stand very clear, UPI will remain free for, for transactions of up to 2,000 rupees. But your thoughts? I mean, should it be market determined? Should there be a cap put on by the regulator? Should it remain free? And is that doing good for the industry?
See, today the UPI has grown substantially in last 5 years' time, and the UPI has been built as a public good infrastructure. So obviously, government has a view on that. RBI has released a discussion paper, and I think somewhere maybe next few months' time, as an ecosystem, as a country, we will reach to the consensus that what is the best way to move forward. There are a lot of opinions right now in terms of ecosystem players, the banks, the fintechs. In my assessment, it may take some more time to settle this down. As on date, it's not a zero MDR. So there is an incentivization coming in from the government. So somebody pays, somebody's already paying for it in that sense. And, I strongly believe that there should be some reasonable incentivization in the ecosystem so that, we are able to invest back on cyber security, the fraud risk, the customer protection, and variety of the things which are required. Expansion of the ecosystem, right? Because we still have another 2/3 of the country has to use UPI, right? So and similarly the similar number of merchants. So I think investments will be required to grow the UPI to 10x from where it is right now.
Okay. I quickly also wanted to get a sense on your regulation, the 30% cap for third-party applications, which was expected.
It's still undecided. We are still thinking about it. We're still working on it.
Is it likely that the Jan 2023 deadline will be pushed? Because
we will see that. I can't comment on that right now.
Any feedback from the industry?
No feedback. It's a matter which NPCI has to take a call along with the regulator and the government.